या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।
Namaste and welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. On this auspicious Friday evening, let us offer the Satsang once again at the divine feet of our beloved Sadguru, as also the cosmic divine energy that we now adore and worship and revere as Devi. As always, let us begin the satsang with a short bhajan invoking this divine energy of Ganesha, a creation of Devi herself, the elephantine energy residing in the Mooladhara. So it opens the doors and clears the passages so that consciousness can freely move to higher dimensions.
ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। 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 ॐ गं गणपतये गणपतये नमः ॐ गं गणपतये नमः गजवदना गणनाथा गजवदना दीननाथा गजवदना गणनाथा गजवदना दीननाथा सिद्धिविदाता शिवतनया सिद्धिविदाता शिवतनया बुद्धिप्रदायक गजानना बुद्धिप्रदायक गजानना पार्वती नंदन भव भयभंजन पार्वती नंदन भव भयभंजन युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा ॐ गं गणपतये नमः 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 गजवदना गणनाथा गजवदना दीननाथा गजवदना गणनाथा गजवदना दीननाथा सिद्धिविदाता शिवतनया सिद्धिविदाता शिवतनया बुद्धिप्रदायक गजानना बुद्धिप्रदायक गजानना पार्वती नंदन भव भयभंजन पार्वती नंदन भव भयभंजन युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा ॐ गं गणपतये नमः 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 ॐ गं गणपतये नमः
For those of you who have just joined, Namaste, welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam for another delightful satsang. As always, Maya and I are privileged and very grateful to be able to host these satsangs. So thank you for allowing both of us into your homes and spending this evening with us. We have been studying the Devi Khadgamala. We have begun to study this amazing practice, sadhana, this amazing japa, this amazing mantra that brings out the deeper aspects of our own self and gives us an idea of the cosmos that contains this whole creation. Because like I said earlier, if you understand the microcosm, then the macrocosm is more easily understood. That, I believe, was the principle of the rishis and the yogis of ancient civilizations, because of which they were able to understand the cosmos outside. So having said that, let's go back to the sloka. And before we go to the sloka, here is a small disclaimer. I know it sounds very complicated and all that. The learning is, okay, because we are taking time to understand each word and so on. And so once you cross this learning, in other words, once you graduate from the Khadgamala, you know the Rishi's name by memory and you know the meaning of each word, you know the chandas and all that, and then you go to each level, each avarana it is called, and you know the Devi is there, you know the meaning there. So that involves learning. That's the whole sadhana. That is part of the sadhana. The learning of it is part of that spiritual sadhana. Once you learn it, the actual practice of it takes not more than 10 to 15 minutes. It's a very short chant, and it can be very easily done. But unfortunately, if you do it without knowing the meaning, and I was exchanging these thoughts with a couple of people on WhatsApp, without the meaning, the efficacy of the chant is greatly reduced. So it is worth spending time, even if it takes a few months. Take your time to understand, make notes, and make the meaning, understand the meaning, and then develop a logical connection from one word to the other. Understand that. Then the hidden meaning brings out the feeling. In other words, you will know which energy I'm invoking. Why am I invoking this energy? Where is this energy? So that feeling, that reverence, all of that comes, and along with that, wisdom will come. That is the beauty of this. So please use patience and study this as a sadhana. I know there are people who take 4 or 5 years to study, not the Khadgamala, the Bhagavad Gita, for example. It is their sadhana. They take 1 verse a day or 2 verses a day and they study it. So considering that there are 700 verses, that itself is 2 years. But then you memorize them and so on. So it takes 3 to 4 years or at least 5 years to understand the Bhagavad Gita fully. But that itself is a sadhana. And once it is here, it stays with you for many, many, many lifetimes. So I'm saying this to motivate you, to encourage you to understand this, because these are not simply, like I said earlier, prayers to please some goddess outside. These are Shaktis to empower us, to protect us, to bring out life in all its enrichment, empowerment, so you can live that kind of life with confidence, with bravery, with courage, with creativity, because now you're harnessing the energies of the universe and going forward without any fear, because now you feel and experience a divine protection of the higher self in you. So hopefully that was a little motivating talk, and I'll be doing that more as we go along. Because the path of devotion we sometimes think is very easy. So we'll sit back and say, oh, God doesn't want this, God doesn't want that. We need to ask ourselves whether this is devotion speaking or laziness speaking. Sometimes we become very complacent in the path, in spiritual path. We slowly begin to drift, and before we know, we are doing nothing. We become philosophers. Oh yeah, God is everything, then why do anything and sit back? So all that only remains a theory, but when the real storms of life come, and then your creativity is challenged and you need to do something, then you don't know what to do. And even if life doesn't throw any challenges, you just drift along one day at a time. And I think that is no adventure in life. We have this one life to live. Let's make it a beautiful adventure. Let's explore every dimension. We can always sleep and watch TV whenever we want, but these things are a great opportunity for us to open our hearts and mind. That's why great avatars, masters walk the earth, waking us up, say, wake up, you have so much more to explore, so much more to enjoy. Why are you stuck in this little world of yours? All right. Having said that, let's begin the slides that we were going through. We are still in the introductory phase. So yesterday, we'll take from where we left off yesterday. Yesterday, we were at the Devata name. We took, was it yesterday? The day before yesterday. Yes, the day before yesterday, on Wednesday. We were at the Devata's name. So we chant the Devata's name. Usually, the Devata's name is very short in most of the other mantras. But in this case, the Devi, because you are addressing the mighty Devi, you are saying, who is this Devi, right? So it was fascinating how we explored that. Hope you found it enjoyable and useful, because Satvika Kakara Bhattara Kapitastita Kameshwaranga Nilayaye Mahakameshwari Sri Lalita Mahabhattarakaye Devata or Devataye Namaha. I salute this great Devi, this one-pointed devotion she's sitting. So when we keep this in mind, because this one-pointed devotion is beautifully explained in the dhyana sloka and the meditative sloka that we will do before starting the 182 names. Okay, so assuming that we have understood that for now, let's proceed. So Rishi, Chandas, name of the Devata, and all of that is done. Then we come to the potent energy of the mantra. What is this mantra? What is this mantra we're going to chant? So the Beejaksharas that you chant before saying the names of the Devis as we go along in the puja, you'll understand, before the japa. These are the three sounds that you're going to do it again and again and again and again. Aim, Kleem, and Sauhu. Aim, Kleem, and Sauhu. These are the three sounds, powerful sounds, that you're going to say again and again. And these sound creates neural paths in the brain, begins to release potent energies from within, and together, that combination of Aim, Kleem, Sauhu is a unique combination. We don't have to consciously understand what that is. The sound energies go inside, mix up, and bring out that beauty from within. This is all done by rishis and yogis. So we will put our faith on that and go into it. And I can tell you from my experience, it's amazing how suddenly you are lifted, as if somebody is lifting you literally up without any effort, simply because these mantras become alive. It is believed in the Puranas that there is something called Shakshatkara. When you invoke the deity of a mantra, the deity has to come alive. In other words, you have to awaken the potency of the mantra, which is what we're going to talk about now. So when that happens, the deity of that mantra, in this case Devi, will come alive to you. We spoke about it in as Hanuman also, as Ganesha also. It's the same principle. The more we chant, because that is the food for that deity. They say it in a lighter way, that I have to feed my deity with this mantra, because mantra is what keeps that prana, the prana from that mantra goes into the deity, and the deity begins to come alive. Because you are meditating on that deity, you're calling upon the deity, and the sounds make that happen. So a different dimension begins to open. Now, what happens if you stop chanting? That dimension goes back to being dormant. There is no deity taking revenge on you. Please don't say, what if I do? Do I have to do it every day? What if I cannot do it? What if I miss a Friday? Will something bad happen? Nothing bad will happen. I am telling you this, that the more regular you are, the more intense you are in your spiritual practice, in this mantra chanting, especially in Devi Khadgamala, Devi begins to awaken within you. You will begin to feel the presence, you'll begin to feel guided, you'll begin to feel a very motherly protection around you, and so on and so forth. But if you stop the chant, not if you skip a day or not like that, right? But if you gently say, okay, I used to do Khadgamala every day, long ago. That long ago is long ago. Because what happens is, if you have not done it over a period of time, the mind drifts away from that deity, and that energy which awakened within you goes back to being dormant. That's all it is. It goes back to being dormant. Why do they do this yantra on a copper plate and do? Because copper retains that energy. And it begins to reflect back into you every time you go to the altar. But you have to keep that alive. That is why they say, Shri Yantram, if you are keeping in your house, do puja. If you don't, it is just simply a copper plate sitting there. There's nothing bad going to happen to you because you have a Shri Yantra diagram, mystical diagram sitting in your altar and you're not doing anything to it. There's nobody sitting there to take revenge on you. That is simply a dormant energy. It's like a wire which is not connected to any electricity. It's a wire, it's capable of conducting electricity, but it doesn't do anything, right? But when you feed the mantra, copper absorbs the mantra and holds it. And then you dive into that aura every time. And then the copper in turn, or copper pots, copper yantras, in turn help you to progress and awaken that particular energy which is awakened through the combination of particular mantras. In this case, Aim, Kleem, Sauhu awakens this divine cosmic creative energy in the form of wisdom. She arises in the form of a little child. In other words, a small Shakti arises within you. You begin to understand creation in a very gentle way. Very gentle way. Otherwise, it is something so unimaginable. You can't just rudely be shaken out of this reality. In shock, you will go right back to where you belong to. So instead of awakening this grand Shakti, you first awaken her. Tell her, come to me as a small child. So Aim, Kleem, Sauhu is the mantra for, we will come to her name. She's called Bala Tripura Sundari. We'll come to that. Bala means young, child. We are invoking this cosmic principle as a girl child. Because Prakriti is feminine, we are saying you come as a girl child, as a small, young, timid child. So, Beejaksharas, very powerful names. These are mere sounds. Sounds contain a meaning in them. If you know the meaning and chant the Beejakshara, then the potency increases by many, many, many levels. If you don't know and you chant the Beejakshara, it is still a very potent mantra, but the efficacy is reduced. In other words, if you do 100,000 times knowing this and do it every day or whenever and complete 100,000 times, it's far more powerful than you do 100,000 times without understanding any meaning. Then you may have to do it 1,000,000 times, 10 times more to achieve the same level. I'm just giving you an idea and emphasizing the importance of taking that one step more to understand what are you chanting. Then you begin to value it. Otherwise, you're saying something, the mind is going somewhere else because the mind can't understand. And so then we say we can't concentrate on the mantra, or I feel sleepy during the mantra, and so on. All that happens because there is bhava is not evoked, devotion is not evoked. So, Aim, Kleem, Sau. In this particular mantra, when I say mantra, in this particular Khadgamala Mala mantra, in this particular Mala mantra, in this garland of mantras that we're going to offer, these three are potent. Now, in a traditional setup, when a guru initiates you, he'll explain what is the potency of these mantras. So the first mantra in this Aim is the Beejam. You must have probably read these words by now. By the time I kind of talked, I gave you some time to subconsciously allow those words to settle in. Aim is wisdom. It's a very simple word, wisdom, but Aim actually stands for the highest wisdom. The potency, that sound alone has the potency to allow your mind and your brain and your nervous system to begin to accept the highest wisdom. Because experience without wisdom is no use. Absolutely no use. I remember a very funny incident. The boys were sitting and some devotees were sitting, and there was one lady who said, Baba, I saw these beautiful lights and I felt so wonderful and in my meditation. Then Baba said, then what happened? Then she said, my body started swaying and I was so happy. Of course, Baba said, good, good, good. And then very jokingly he said, you know, if you have a little bit of alcohol, that also your body will sway. And we all had a good laugh. But the point he was making is, what is there in experience? And I thought that was more for me because at that time I was looking for experiences. And so I took that lesson home seriously. Because experience without wisdom, this is what he said. If experience is not going to transform you, what is the point of having experience? There has to be transformation along with the experience. When will transformation happen with experience? When wisdom comes along with experience. Right? When you had an experience of electricity, you had wisdom as to how powerful it is, how you got to tame it, how you got to handle electricity, correct? Perhaps you made a mistake here and there, you got a shock a little bit, and so on and so forth, but then you learned it. So that experience has given you wisdom, and that wisdom teaches you how to handle further experiences, correct? So in spirituality, it's the same thing. If there is experience without any wisdom, ignore those experiences. If there's experiences doesn't cause transformation, what's the point? If your body is shaking and you feel all vibrations and you're crying and your whole body is in bliss, what is that teaching you? Where is the wisdom that coming? Are you getting the darshan? And then when you come back, are you completely tasting that divinity and losing interest in other things? So those kind of things you got to see if it is causing a transformation in me, right? I'm is that energy which brings wisdom into you. It gives you that capacity, the power of cognition, as it is called. Saraswati Beeja. That is why it is called Saraswati Beeja. Saraswati is that statue there with the veena in her hand. She's over here in this corner. So she sits there with the veena because she represents knowledge, talent, ability to communicate, all of that. There is wisdom. That energy of Saraswati is symbolic of Aim. Aim is the Beejam. Okay? That is the seed in this Mala mantra. So seed is there. Because ultimately we are praying for what is realizing Devi. If you are able to truly go to that center of the Sri Chakra and visualize Devi, you have to be enlightened to do that, to get that darshan, right? So that enlightenment is in the form of a seed, potent or dormant inside. It's a potent energy, it's dormant in us. It's the form of a seed. The seed has the whole tree, but still it's a seed. You can hold it in the palm of your hand. It's tiny, right? Then, that is the Aim. Aim, Beejam, because you're going to constantly chant these mantras. So think of wisdom is in the form of seed in me. That is going to open up and become more potent. How? What does that seed contain? Wisdom. But then along with that wisdom will come the power to accomplish, the power to manifest your lightest desire. Because wisdom is knowledge. This is not ordinary knowledge that we are seeking. This is not a knowledge of 2 + 2 is 4 and the earth is round and what's the diameter of the earth and the sky. All of that which we can get in this dimension through books and science and all of that. This is not that. This is the higher knowledge where intuition begins to talk to you and tell you and teach you. That energy, where it's called siddhis and so on, we'll study that because we're going to call upon those energies. All those energies are hidden in this seed. Those energies are part of this wisdom. Okay? Because once you know, in other words, you get the knowledge that you're capable of doing something, then why wouldn't you do that? Correct? Any talent or any art. So once you have that wisdom opening, then you start doing much more than previously you thought you could. All talents and all of that will just begin to flow through you. All you have to do is tap into those talents and make it happen. Tap into those creative energies of the universe. So that energy of ability to manifest, I've called it manifestation, is the energy Kleem. Kleem. Kleem is Shakti of this Mala mantra. The Shakti, the energy of this Mala mantra. And Sauhu is the Kilakam. Kilakam, I had previously said it's a lock. What I meant was it's more of a key that opens this. So you have the seed, right? Wisdom is there. And because of that wisdom awakening, all the manifestation energies will come. So the tree begins to blossom. But for that to happen, there has to be a sense of fulfillment. In other words, wisdom can happen, manifestations can happen, but the ultimate fulfillment, the aha, yes, that self-realization, the end of the journey as it were, the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, Devi sitting finally on the lap of Shiva, that fulfillment is actually, Sauhu is a very powerful word. Sauhu is very rarely used in mantras. It is in this mantra that it's used. It is also used in the Subramanya Panchadashakshari mantra. There is a 15-syllable mantra of the son of Shiva, Subramanya, in the Mooladhara chakra. And if you chant that mantra, then all the 6 chakras begin to open very gradually and very beautifully. We will learn that as we go along. But that mantra has Sauhu. Sauhu stands for fulfillment. Sauhu is where finally the fulfillment of this mantra happens, where Devi finally manifests to you. So that is there in this mantra. So Aim Kleem Sauhu. Sauhu is the Kilakam. Sauhu word, therefore, is the key. So the Sauhu, I'm going to call, these are 3 different, they she. So one feminine energy is lying potent, Saraswati. Kleem is the Shakti, the Lakshmi principle, the abundance principle, the manifestation principle. All desires gets manifested. So there's a manifestation there. And Sauhu is the fulfillment. And this enriched lifestyle finally finds fulfillment in the oneness with the divine. So Sauhu comes and fulfills that. So there is Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati. If that is one way to look at it. All the 3 energies. So what you're seeing there, seated down, in the center is Kleem. Saraswati is on one side, Aim is on one side, and Sauhu, which is the key to releasing all of this. The key to the puzzle that finally puts all this together is that one word, one letter actually, or one alphabet. I'm always confused between alphabet and letter. Let's call it letter. Aim, Kleem, Sauhu. It's not Klim, it's Kleem. There is a dash on top of I. So it is Kleem. Don't say Klim. Here, sounds are very important. The pronunciation is very important. Aim, not I am. Aim. So there is A-I-M, Aim, or I-I-M if you want to say. I put it in English because that's how it is there in the international Sanskrit transliteration, if you will. But the pronunciation is Aim. There is an I, you press that with the tongue. Aim, Kleem, Sauhu. Aim, Kleem, Sauhu. At the end of it, while you're learning this whole Khadgamala, the Mala mantra, and it takes 5 months, 6 months to learn, and you're doing it patiently, maybe we will finish it earlier, but for you to learn this, going back, referring to your notes and so on. When you're learning that, you can go on repeating this. Aim, Kleem, Sauhu, Sauhu, Kleem, Aim, Kleem, Sauhu. You go back, Sauhu, Kleem, Aim. So now you're creating a circular energy. Aim, Kleem, Sauhu. You don't go back like this. You continue, complete the circle. Sauhu, Kleem, Aim, Kleem, Sauhu, Sauhu, Kleem, Aim. You can just constantly chant this mantra. There is no Om in this mantra. There is a Om that is hidden in these 3 words. So don't say, can I chant a Om before and can say Namaha, and all of that is not required. Here is simply calling upon those energies. You're simply tuning into the energy of Aim. Don't be in a speed. Don't be in a rush to chant this. Don't chase numbers here. Should I do it 36 times or 21 times, 11 times? Just each word is complete by itself. Each letter is complete in itself. Meaning, don't say I'm leading to Kleem and Kleem as a means to go to Sauhu. It's not a sentence. Each independent letter. What they do together, let it happen inside. Okay? That we cannot do anything about that consciously. It's like a kaleidoscope, right? Kaleidoscope? Kaleidoscope. Anyway, I'm bad at it. Anyway, so you know those little things, you shake it and you look into it and the designs form. You can't form a design. You just shake it, rotate it or whatever, and then you look into it, some beautiful designs form. I used to play that when I was a child, and I think people of my generation might relate to that. But the point there is, you cannot consciously plan the combination of these mantras inside. When you chant, treat each sound individually. So take your own time. Aim, Kleem, Sauh, Sauh, Kleem, Aim. If you do like this with full focus and understanding, and you do it only 3 times, that's fine. That's much better than Aim, Kleem, Sauh, Sauh, Kleem, Aim, Kleem, Sauh, Sauh, Kleem, Aim. These are sound energies. Sound energies means you have to pay complete attention to the sound. Pay attention to the pronunciation. Pay attention to how the lips and the tongue and all of that, how the sound emerges. Focus only on the sound. Like Ram, Ram, Ram. Like that. Just focus on the sound, on the formation of the sound from inside the throat and how it comes out. So when you're focusing on the sound becomes very important. So please don't think of speeding it up or chanting it X number of times and reducing it to some mindless practice. It's a mindful chant, because that is when the energy of this mantra awakens. Otherwise, I can tell you, you can be initiated by the greatest of teachers into these mantras, but if you don't understand how to practice it, then it's really of no use. At the same time, you may not be initiated by anyone, and you might say, creative energy of Shiva, you initiate me into this divine mantra. Because the first Rishi must have got this initiation from the divine, right? Why can't you get it? It is our birthright. I know it sounds blasphemy, but that is how we have put fear ahead of all of this. In spirituality, there is really, don't be afraid to go to God and tell Him, listen, I'm going to do this because I want enlightenment. I want you. He's not going to say, how dare you come to me directly, you have to be initiated by somebody. For me, I find it very hard to believe, even though I was initiated. It's very hard to believe that is required. In fact, for me, I was doing this much before, and initiation, all that fell into place in due course of time. Let that all happen. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. But you don't wait for something like that and then begin to start the practice. All right? I do respect traditions. But up to a point, beyond a point, let's not allow traditions to stop us stop the spirit from expanding itself. Okay? Aim, Kleem, Sauh, Sauh, Kleem, Aim. So this is what we say. Now, when you tell this mantra, the seed is the Shiva energy. I told you, Shiva is constantly in meditation. He is the energy he doesn't even know he exists. In other words, he's lost. Consciousness, in other words, Devi is the one who comes out from his Shakti and tells him, this is who you are, and shows him this creation as his manifestation. In a poetic way, if you want to understand that. So Shiva is the Beejam. What is the Shiva side? What is the right side is the Shiva side. So Beejam is this side. So there are schools which do like this. Or you can do it on either side of your navel as well, because that's the center of the body. You usually do it by the side of the navel. You probably can't see me right now. I'm keeping my fingers together like this and pointing it to the right side of the navel, keeping it against the right side to say, Aim Beejam. So Shiva is potent. The wisdom of Shiva, the Shiva consciousness is potent. All of that will explode when Devi meets with Shiva. Then the Shakti is which side? The left side. So, Kleem Shaktihi. And the Sauhu, which brings Aim and Kleem together into one gorgeous self-realization and self-enlightened, self-empowered lifestyle, is Sauhu. She is the key. So she is right in the middle on the navel. Aim Beejam Kleem Shaktihi Sauhu Kilakam. All right? This is for the mantra mala. If you're doing it as a japa, you don't have to keep doing this all the time. The first time you do it, and then you practice the mala. So there is a separate rishi and all of that who gave these 3 mantras. So we will study that as we go along. If I'm guided to, I will definitely share that as well. But this is part of the Khadgamala Sotram, because you're going to constantly say this and then the name of those energies throughout. And therefore, it was important that I explained to you these 3 powerful Bijakshara mantras. Together, they invoke the Devi in the child form. In other words, a creative cosmic principle in a form that you and I can understand, in a form that doesn't intimidate us, in the form that doesn't harm us or create fear in us, that doesn't shock us out of reality, but gently come speak to you and guide you. That is why they meditate upon Devi as a little child, as a young child, anywhere between 6 to 9 years old, a young child, full of curiosity. She has a book in one hand, she has a japmala in one hand, saying that you also have to study, I'm also going to study with you. That's the kind of, the beautiful child comes and asks you questions. And in asking questions to you, she is awakening you, okay, making you dig deeper into yourself. The journey is beautiful when you start doing the Khadgamala. That is why I'm sharing these thoughts with you all, hoping that some of you might take it up for your own spiritual practice. So, we will revisit these things later again. So, potent energy of the mantra. Then comes the purpose of the mantra. So, what is the purpose of this mantra? The Sanskrit is written there, the English words are there. Again, it looks very complicated. It is not, once you understand what it is. Mama, Shri, Bala Tripura Sundari, Khadgarupena, Sakshatkara, Prasada Siddhyarte, Jape Viniyogaha. What am I going to do now? Why am I going to do this Khadgamala Stotra? Why am I doing this Khadgamala chant? So I'm explaining the purpose to myself. It is important to have a purpose clear in your mind when you engage in a practice. We might say, oh, I'm not interested in all the fruit of action. I just want to immerse myself. That is a superfluous level. We are here because we are seeking enlightenment. We are seeking Devi, and don't shy away from asking her. You can shy from saying, give me more power from over others and make me more rich and all of that. Those kind of things, if you want, you can shy away. You can also ask that. It's entirely up to you. For me, what I'm asking in this mantra chant, what I've always asked for, and what is really manifested in our lives is this. So let us take this meaning word by word. So the mantra purpose, Mama, let's take one part. Mama Shri Bala Tripura Sundari Khadgarupena. Mama, my. For me, for mine. This is for me, I'm saying. So Mama indicates that. Mama Shri, auspicious. Shri Bala Tripura Sundari. I am calling upon for me, manifest as the Shri Bala Tripura Sundari. Bala means child, young. Tripura Sundari, the 3 cities, the 3 worlds, the 3 dimensions, the 3 gunas. Sundari is the one who is beautiful. Sundari is the feminine of Sunder. So now you know what my name means, Sunder. I like to say handsome, but I got to live with beautiful. So that's okay. Sundar and Sundari. So Tripura Sundari, Sundari is the beautiful young child. What kind of beauty? Not the beauty you and I can see here in this world. She is the most beautiful among all the 3 worlds. Tripura Sundari. Bala Tripura Sundari. This innocent, beautiful child. That is the most beautiful in all the dimensions I can ever think of, in all the 3 gunas, all the 3 worlds, all across time, and all the 3s that you can put together. She is the most beautiful. So you're calling upon that divine. So as it is, your mind is established in an enthusiasm to behold the sight of this beautiful little child in the child form, the Shakti in the child form. So Shri Bala Tripura Sundari Khadgarupena. How does, in this particular mantra, how do I want her to manifest to me? Come to me in the form of an armor. Khadga technically is sword. I didn't put that word here simply because I just couldn't bring myself to that. I never thought of a sword. A sword somehow to us has a semblance. We connect sword. Knife is at least, I can say, cutting vegetables and all. For me, a sword, because I have not used it. I believe most of you would not have also used a sword in your life, unless, of course, if you're a Sikh and you're from traditional Punjab, you have a sword tucked in. So that's a different thing. I'm not used to that. I've not been exposed to that. So for me, sword stands for some kind of violence. So I can't relate to that meaning. But the idea there, khadga was used there, because once you have a sword, you have protection. Correct? You can protect yourself from evil forces if you have a lovely sword in your hand. I say lovely. Yeah, a powerful sword in your hand. Then you can protect yourself against all the enemies, right? Against all the evil forces. You become the warrior. So sword, again, is symbolic of armor. So khadga also symbolizes armor. So though the word literal meaning could be sword, it also means armor. Actually, it does mean armor more than the sword in this context. Therefore, I want Devi to come and manifest as an armor. The armor, when you wear an armor, it is the closest thing that you wear. In these days, we understand that as the bulletproof vest. They don't wear, many times they do wear bulletproof vests on the outside, but normally they'll wear it inside, and over that they will wear a regular dress to hide the vest. In other words, the vest, the armor, is the closest to you, closest to your body, and it clings to your body. So for me, this visualization of Devi clinging to me, and I'm clinging to her, in other words, just becoming one with that principle, so tightly knit. It's like that warm embrace of the mother, like a small child will go and give a tight hug to the mother gives a tight hug to the child. That kind of armor is what comes to my mind when I call upon and establish the purpose of this mantra. So this armor is she. She is the armor. She is not blessing me with an armor. I want you to be the armor, not anything else. That's what I say. So Mama Shri Bala Tripura Sundari Khadga Rupena, in the form of Khadga, in the form of the armor. How does she come? Let's go to the next line. Sakshatkara. Sakshatkara is direct first-hand experience. So that's the longer term of just saying realization. So realization, how do you realize something? Unless you have not experienced, you only know about something. You have not realized it until you experienced it, correct? So I want the first-hand experience of you protecting me. I don't want to imagine, I don't want to visualize. I want it in sakshatkara, in a sense that I can experience it in this dimension, here and now. Come and be my armor. Sakshatkara prasada siddhyarthi. Give this to me as prasada. The prasad is a merciful blessing. We use that as terms for, we make food offerings and offer it to the altar and then take it back and receive it as prasad. We receive it back because prasad means there is mercy in the prasad. There's an element of because in this word prasad, that makes you humble. You're not demanding this. You're not expecting this. You're merely saying, you're opening your mind and saying, may this be given to me as a merciful blessing. Prasada siddhyarte. Let this be accomplished. In other words, let this manifest as a merciful blessing from the divine. And thus, I am doing this chant. Japa is the chant. Japa is mantra. Japa is repetition. Because Aim Klim Saho gets repeated, it becomes a japa. So japa viniyogaha. Jape viniyogaha. Viniyogaha means I'm engaging in this japa because I want Bala Tripura Sundari to manifest as an armor and cling to me and protect me. And give me this experience of experiencing her as a prasad. Sakshatkara prasada siddhyarte jape vinyoga. So, with this, then we begin the next phase of the mantra. So let us see, I think I'm going to revise this quickly. So here, this is just a revision of this. Mama Shri Bala Tripura Sundari Khadga Rupena Sakshatkara Prasada Siddhyarte Jape Viniyogaha. So this is how I state the purpose of the mantra. Now, let us quickly go through right from the Rishi, how the flow comes. I want to give you an idea. So let us go to the next slide. So this is how it is. First we announce the name of the mantra, right? So far what we have learned, let's revise this. Asya Shri Shuddha Shaktimala Mahamantrasya, announcing the name of the mantra. Upastendriyadhishtai Varunaditya Rishihi, announcing the name of the Rishi. Devi Gayatri Chandaha, announcing the name of the Chandas with my hand here like this. Then call upon, whom am I calling out to? Who's the deity of the mantra? Satvika, Kakara, Bhattaraka, Pitastita, Kameshwaranga Nilayayai, Mahakameshwari, Sri Lalita, Mahabhattarakayai, Devatayai Namaha. And then we go to Aim, Beejam, Kleem, Shaktihi, Sauhu, Kilakam, Mama, purpose of the mantra, Mama Shri Bala Tripura Sundari Khadga Rupena Sakshatkara Prasada Siddhyarte Jape Viniyogaha. You see, what took us 3 days and so long to learn is reduced to less than 2 minutes. Correct? So don't worry about how long it's going to take, where am I going to find time to practice it. Learn. Sit, relax in your chair and slowly read, make notes, understand each word. Take your time to learn. Then begin to practice. It's a very beautiful practice. So let us stop here today, and we will take this up next week and go to the next stage from here, and then go into each, explore the Sri Chakra, where all of the action is. As always, let us end the satsang with a beautiful bhajan. I call upon Sai in these bhajans. I know there are people who may not be devotees of Sai Baba. You know, the divine takes many forms, many names. And to me, I learned everything at his lotus feet. So for me, all of this is him. And he is everything. So he's the mother, he's the father, he is the friend, he is the guru, he is the Shiva, he is the Shakti. So understand that cosmic Devic principle can manifest as your guru, as your teacher, as your God of your choice. And names and forms may be different, but we are all calling upon that one divine energy. This is one of my favorite bhajans. Om Shri Matre Namaha. 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 Om Shri Matre
नमः पर्तीश्वरी जगज्जननी पर्तीश्वरी जगज्जननी जय 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 हे साई जननी जय 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 हे साई जननी पर्तीश्वरी जगज्जननी पर्तीश्वरी जगज्जननी वेद कलामयी देवी भवानी वेद कलामयी देवी भवानी नाद विद्यामयी नारायणी नाद विद्यामयी नारायणी करुणा सदनी करुणामयी मां करुणा सदनी करुणामयी मां शरणं शरणं साई मां शरणं शरणं साई मां जय 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 हे साई जननी जय 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 हे साई जननी पर्तीश्वरी जगज्जननी ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः वेद कलामयी देवी भवानी वेद कलामयी देवी भवानी नाद विद्यामयी नारायणी नाद विद्यामयी नारायणी करुणा सदनी करुणामयी मां करुणा सदनी करुणामयी मां शरणं शरणं साई मां शरणं शरणं साई मां जय 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 हे साई जननी जय 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 हे साई जननी पर्तीश्वरी जगज्जननी पर्तीश्वरी जगज्जननी ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः ॐ श्री मात्रे नमः समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.